Hi everyone, welcome to Homerino Collectibles, where today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Generations Windblade. Now this is something that I've had for quite some time and just haven't really got around to reviewing, and I really do like this figure, so I'm really happy to finally get around to it. This was a fan's choice figure in a way. Basically, what Hasbro did was give fans the chance to create their own Transformers. So it's really awesome what they did, and it's just absolutely fantastic that this thing has come to life and just looks so much like its comic book counterpart. And then a closer look at the back. We can see the bio there. If you want to go ahead and read it, you can pause now, and then we get a look at her in robot and vehicle mode. And then coming down a little bit further, we can see the tech specs, so if you want to take a look at those, you can pause it now. So let's get this thing open and take a look at the figure itself. And here is Windblade out of the packaging. Now, mine I did have a bit of a problem with, but apart from the problem that I have and a couple of little gripes that I have with the figure, it is really an amazing figure and one of my favourite Transformers to date. Now the problem with mine came at this hinge right in here. Basically you've got the cockpit that's hinged right here, and it's also got a little hinge here. It just helps with a little bit of leeway. I mean, it doesn't just open like all the way up right there. I'll show you during transformation. It's just a tiny little bit of movement on a little hinge, and basically it wasn't aligned properly, meaning the cockpit was like on an angle. And the way that this works, if that hinge and these hinges and the hinges on the wings and that hinge there and these swivels back here, if any of that isn't aligned properly, then basically the entire thing will not transform properly. And that is one of the gripes that I have with the figure, that it's not a hard transformation, but it's just fiddly, and if everything isn't perfect, then it will not go back straight basically. So here is the plastic that I had to cut off of that hinge. Basically you've got a metal bar and then the plastic goes around it there, and basically what happened was it was molded like that. So you've got the hole here, and basically it just wasn't aligned properly, so the plastic was molded to it incorrectly. So one side wasn't completely on the bar and one side was up, and it was just throwing the entire transformation off just that little bit. So basically I just had to cut off the one side so that I could then clip it on, and it works perfectly fine now, and there's enough plastic there to actually hold it in place perfectly fine. So yeah, I just kept a hold of that just to show you that I did have to cut a little bit off. But now that it's, because at that point I thought, I'm going to have to buy another one and whatnot, and they're not super expensive or anything, but it's just, it would have been, more expense for a figure that I wasn't feeling very happy with, because I couldn't transform it at all. I could get it into robot mode perfectly fine, but vehicle mode was just basically ruined by that. But the fact that I fixed it now and everything is fine, I'm really happy with this figure. So looking at some close-up detail on this thing, we have some really nice rivets all along the body. I'll just put that back in properly, there we go. And the cockpit, it doesn't have a seat in there and everything, it's just a load of moulded stuff to hold it in properly. But the actual canopy itself does look nice. We have a rubberized front, but it is hard and it barely moves. It just, I guess, helps with their regulations, making it so that they can have a more pointy tip on the plane. The wings here, they have the kind of VTOL things that you can turn around, and you can turn them the other way as well, and they do spin. If you blow on them, it does make them spin, but it is hard to get them going. You can't just they won't spin as easily as like helicopter blades or something on a Transformer, but they do spin, which is very nice. And we have some landing gear underneath here, so this front set of landing gear just folds away like so. To get it out, you just push on the back of that hinge and it'll come out. And then we have two red bits here that are on the legs that are molded in. Now, none of those wheels are actually rolling wheels, but it's nice that we do get landing gear. As you can see, it is actually a very sleek plane. Yes, you have got a lot of random kibble. You've got arms here. You basically got arms and legs and the heads inside here. You got the chest and whatnot. But it works, and yes, you've got the gap here, but the sword and sheath right here pegs in to a hole right there, and that does cover some of that up. As you can see now, you've got that inside there, and it comes out past the engines at the back here, and you've got like another little set of rotors there which is cool. If you like the look of that, then there you go, that's fantastic. If you don't have to have it there. I don't mind the fact that there's the gaps. Now, one other thing that I don't like, as you can see, the back here, they are kind of bent outwards, so even when pegged together properly, they don't stay together like this, but on pretty much every single other one that I've seen, they do stay together. So, and I mean, maybe just heating them up a little bit will help with that, but I don't really care too much. I won't be keeping it in vehicle mode too much, but yeah, overall, yes, it is a bit finicky, as you can see, with gaps and stuff, and keeping it all nice and held together. But overall, it is a very, very nice play mode. I really do like this thing. You know, it's not as strong as other planes that I have, but it is pretty damn nice. So for the transformation, the first thing that we're going to do is just unpeg these rear fins from the back, from the engine pieces right there. And as you can see, they are on hinges here, so you just fold them back over. And they were also clipped into the hands here, so that just opens the hands up and you can just bring them out. At the front here, these pieces, you just untab like so, and then you just bring the wings out. Now they're on hinges here, so you just slide those out to get them out of the way. The cockpit, as you can see now, on that hinge, it literally just moves up that much. As you can see, it's not much, but it just helps for the transformation. And yeah, like I said, you know, with that where it was, it just wasn't sitting down properly in vehicle mode, which just basically threw everything out, because it meant that these pieces couldn't tab into there, which meant that these hinges weren't lined up properly and everything. It was just horrible. So we're going to open this flap up like this, bring out the head, and then just push the flap back, and then this canopy is going to just completely fold up onto the back like so. What we're going to do is rotate these leg pieces. We're going to split them apart, and then these pieces down here, we're going to flip the heel down and rotate all the way around like so, and then bring down the shin piece that tabs into place, and that is the foot. Now all we need to do is just push these arm pieces up and into place, straighten everything out, get the wings exactly how you want it. I like to just fold them out a little bit like so, and have them a bit like that. You can bring up these shoulder panels, and then that is it. You have your fully transformed Windblade. And like I said, I'm most likely going to keep this figure in robot mode simply because of just how great this looks. You can definitely tell that this was, you know, designed robot mode first and then vehicle mode after. It's just absolutely perfect. And the great thing about both forms is that they are actually both accurate to the comic. And here you can see the cover art of the book that she comes with. Now this is actually just part of the Dark Cybertron storyline. It's not actually a Windblade book. However, as you can see, she's just picture perfect. It's just absolutely fantastic. The amount of detail and everything that they've been able to get into this figure and whatnot, it just looks awesome. But to get something that looks like this, that turns into a plane as good as it does, they've done a really, really fantastic job in my opinion. So the accessory that she comes with is this sword right here, which is just amazing. And as you can see, the sheath can actually be stored on her hip using that little port, and also it's got this little peg right here which you can put in the hand. It is actually quite loose in that port, really. It comes in and out quite easily, so if you're moving the figure around, you're likely just to knock that off. So it is nice that you can just put it in her hand, and she can actually hold it. She could probably use it as a weapon itself, to be honest. But yeah, this sword is really, really awesome. So it's got this translucent purple that fades out to clear white right there. Just got a little mark on it that looks like it should be able to scratch off, yes. And then we got that very nice rotor right there and everything. It's just really, really fantastically done. Here we have the head sculpt, and this headpiece right up here. It's actually translucent yellow plastic with gold paint on the back. So on the back you can't see through it, yet on the front you can. It actually gives it the effect that it's kind of lighting up in there. It's really, really nice. And then the rest of the head, there's just so much intricate paint work done in there. The eyes, There's red and black detailing underneath it. We've got the blue and gold above it. You know, the eyes are actually painted a different blue. They're kind of like a kind of turquoise. You know, so it's a different blue to any other blue that's on the rest of the figure, so that's really fantastic. They didn't need to do it, but they have it. It makes it look a bit more like it's lighting up. Really small Autobot logo, but it is there. Obviously, we do get that kind of annoying thing, but it's on the underside of the wing, so it's, you know, it's hidden in one of the modes. But yeah, overall, a very, very sleek, very feminine-looking figure, and it's just really, really awesome. And obviously, you can move these wings around however you want. You've got this hinge here that moves all the way around like so you could have them above if you really wanted to. You've got that hinge so you can put them all the way back out of the way and whatnot. Really, really nice. As for the rest of the articulation, the head kind of looks up and down on this hinge, and then it moves left and right, but it is a little bit hindered by these bits here, but not too bad really. You've got shoulder pads here, so they're on a little hinge, so the arms can go up and all the way around. We have a swivel up there underneath the shoulder as well, and then we have an elbow hinge right here. We also have a wrist swivel. We have a waist twist, which works well. The hips come all the way out and go all the way forward and all the way back, and obviously they rotate there too. We have a single jointed knee, which moves a little more than 90 degrees. To the top of Windblade's head, she's about 5.5 inches tall, so she is about the same size as most other Deluxes. As you can see here, this is the movie Crosshairs. So overall, you're getting a pretty decent vehicle mode, an amazing robot mode, a really, really awesome weapon and everything right here. It's just a really, really great Transformer. It's you know, the first fan-built Transformer, as it says on the box. And obviously, there, you know, it has its own series now, so if you're into reading that, then you're really going to want this figure, and trust me, it does not disappoint. Obviously, mine had that little bit of, you know, quality control issue, but I was able to fix it, and it's perfectly fine. So if that happens to you, then you know that it can be fixed. Yes, it's a little bit fiddly, and yes, it can be a little bit back heavy because those heels, I feel, don't go back far enough. But once you've got it posed, you know, she stands really, really well. She looks great. She's got great molded in detail and painted on detail, so I would definitely recommend this figure if you are into the book or just the general look of this, or if you're just into Transformers and you want an extra plane as part of your collection and you can find her for cheap. Otherwise, obviously, there's no big reason for you to go ahead and get this unless you're trying to collect all of the Dark Cybertron stories, so you're just getting all of those Waves of Generations figures anyway. But that's pretty much it for this review, guys, so thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like. If you want to see more pictures of this figure and anything else from my collection that I've got coming up for future reviews, go ahead and follow me on Instagram and Twitter. It's Homerino123 for both, and links are in the description below. And for more Transformers Generations, Masterpiece, movie, and all sorts of figures, go ahead and click on that subscribe button. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.